Hey guys, for math it's lesson 111 today, which starts on page 704. We're going to be talking about estimating perimeter, area, and volume. Remember, an estimate is not an exact, so this is going to be an about, okay? Looking at the bottom of 704, it says, to estimate the areas of shapes, we can use a grid. On the following page, we show a triangle drawn on 1-inch grid paper. We will describe two strategies that can be used to estimate the area of the triangle. So on 705, you'll have the triangle, and there are two different strategies that we could use to find the area of it. Remember, obviously, area is the amount of space taken up inside the figure. So the first strategy says, look within the outline of the figure. Count all the whole squares. Then estimate the number of whole squares that could be formed with the remaining partial squares. So if you look at it, we have only one whole square that's completely filled in. That's F. So we have one whole square. If you look at C and G, they could fit together like a puzzle and form a new square. So that's 2. We could also make a square using D and B. They're both about halfway filled in. So D and B could make a third square. Then you have A and E, and if you look at that little bit of A, it could kind of fit in where E is not shaded. So that's our fourth square. So we could say the area of this triangle is about 4 square inches, because remember it's on 1-inch grid paper. So we would say the estimated area of this triangle is about 4 square inches. So that's one way to do it. Another way we can do it, we're still looking within the figure. Count all the whole squares as we did in the first strategy. So that's F. Then we're going to count all the squares that seem to have at least half their area within the outline of the figure. But don't count the squares that have less than half their area within the figure. So we have F is our whole square. Then we can count E, B, and G because each of those has at least half of the square is shaded. So that was F, E, B, and G. Now we don't count A, C, or D because we're counting C, G, and E as a whole square. So again, we're going to get the same estimate, which is about 4 square inches. So it's the same answer, just a different strategy. So both of these strategies help us estimate areas. An estimate is an approximation. Estimates may differ slightly from person to person. The goal is to make each estimate carefully. So you want to be careful. You want it to be close to the right answer. If it's way off, it's not really an estimate. Now we can also estimate the perimeter of the triangle. So look at the bottom of it. The bottom of the triangle has 4 units. The line goes from one side to the other. They both end on a corner. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 units. And then we have on one side, it goes through 2 units, but it's slanted. So it's going to be a little more than 2. Same with the other side. It goes through 1, 2, 3. It goes through 4, but it only goes through a little part of A. So we'd probably say it's a little more than 3. So we can add up 3 plus 4 plus 2. So 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 2 is 9. So we could say that the perimeter of the triangle is about 9 inches or 9 units. We could even say maybe even 10 because there was a little more than 2 on the on the one side and a little more than 3 on the other. So that's how we estimate area and perimeter. The activity 2 is where you would estimate volume, but you don't have the resources to do that because you need unit cubes or a bunch of little cubes and a container. I'm not going to ask you to do that, but basically what you would do is they are 1-inch unit cubes. and then you would get a box, maybe about the size of a tissue box, and put as many of those unit cubes inside as you can fit. Then you would dump it and count how many there were in there, and that would tell you the estimate of the volume. But I'm not going to ask you to do that. I am going to ask you to do activity 1. This is, you're going to need to print lesson activities 20 and 21. You're going to outline your hand on lesson activity 21, then estimate the area of your handprint. And then outline your hand again on lesson activity 20, which is a 1 centimeter grid, and then estimate the perimeter and area of your handprint. So do that, and then for the lesson practice, you're only going to do A and B. So you'll have 2 problems to do on that. C needs a classroom and yardsticks and meter sticks, and you don't have any of those at your house. Even if you had a yardstick or a meter stick, you don't have a classroom. If you really want to do it, you can do it with whatever room you're in, but you don't have to. So that's all I have for you today. Don't forget to do the activity and then the lesson practice A and B. And today you are doing odd problems. If you have any questions, please let me know, okay?